What if every purchase you made, every place you visited, every person you called, was being used to calculate a single score that determined whether you could get a job, buy a house, or even board a plane? You might think that sounds like science fiction or something only possible in an authoritarian state. But the infrastructure for exactly that system is being quietly built in democratic countries right now, and most people have absolutely no idea it's happening. Let me show you how close we already are. China's social credit system launched in pilot cities around 2014 and went nationwide by 2020. By 2023, it had flagged over 14 million people as untrustworthy, blocking more than 8 million plane tickets and 4 million high-speed train journeys. Citizens lost access to luxury hotels, private schools, and government contracts. And the data feeding this system comes from surveillance cameras, smartphone apps, financial transactions, and even jaywalking sensors on street corners. Over 600 million cameras now operate across China, roughly one for every 2 people in the country. But here's where it gets uncomfortable for people living in Western democracies. The United States already has a private social scoring infrastructure that is remarkably similar in structure. Your insurance premiums are calculated using behavioral data. Your credit score, maintained by Equifax, TransUnion, and Experian, already determines where you can live and work. Background check companies like LexisNexis compile shadow profiles on virtually every American adult, containing thousands of data points that you never consented to share. A 2020 report by the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau found that 45 million Americans had no credit score at all, effectively making them invisible and excluded from basic financial life. The European Union introduced its social credit-adjacent ESG scoring frameworks that are beginning to apply to individual citizens in ways that regulators themselves struggle to define. In 2022, the Netherlands piloted a welfare surveillance system called CRI that used algorithm scoring to flag residents as potential fraud risks based on neighborhood, income, and background, targeting low-income communities at a rate that the Dutch courts eventually ruled violated human rights law. Corporations are moving even faster than governments. Amazon tracks driver productivity with cameras inside delivery vans that monitor facial expressions. Uber and Lyft use passenger ratings that drivers cannot dispute. Airbnb can permanently ban hosts based on automated reviews. A 2022 study from Princeton University found that algorithmic scoring systems used by American employers showed racial disparities in outcomes of up to 40% without any human reviewer ever making a consciously discriminatory decision. The technology enabling all of this has accelerated dramatically. In 2023, facial recognition accuracy rates crossed 99.7% under controlled conditions according to a NIST benchmark study. Real-time emotion detection AI, sold by companies including Microsoft and Amazon, is now being used by some employers during job interviews. Palantir, a U.S. data analytics firm, has contracts with 18 different government agencies including ICE, the CIA, and multiple city police departments, building exactly the kind of integrated data infrastructure that makes a unified scoring system technically feasible. The critical difference between China's system and what is emerging in the West is that China's is centralized and state-run, while the Western version is fragmented and corporate. But fragmented does not mean safe. Research from the Oxford Internet Institute published in 2021 showed that data brokers in the United States sell personal behavioral profiles to over 4,000 known buyers, and the average American's data is resold an estimated 35,000 times over their lifetime without their meaningful knowledge. So what can you actually do about this? First, check your own data broker profiles. Sites like Spokeo, Whitepages, and Been Verified have opt-out processes, though they require effort. Second, use credit freeze options offered free by law under the Fair Credit Reporting Act. Third, support legislative efforts like the proposed American Data Privacy and Protection Act, which as of 2024 still has not passed Congress. Fourth, pay attention to local government contracts with surveillance technology vendors, because city council meetings are where these decisions actually get made. The window to shape these systems is narrow. Once scoring infrastructure becomes deeply embedded in housing, employment, and finance, the cost of removing it becomes prohibitive. We are not living in the world of 2014 China. We are living in 2024, and the architecture being built around us deserves your full attention right now.